Hello, I'm Jeff Paur, senior writer with RealTime Fantasy Sports, and welcome to the RealTime Fantasy Sports Show. It is time for 5 of my favorite waiver wire pickups for Week 16 of the fantasy football season. It is down to crunch time. We are in fantasy playoffs. A lot of you have some huge games this week. Unfortunately, we had a few more injuries last week, including Alvin Kamara. A big-time running back goes down with an injury, so maybe you're looking for help on the waiver wire and at the running back position. And we're here to help you. We're going to give you 5 of our favorite pickups for this week. And it's going to start in New Orleans with that running back situation. It's Kendra Miller of the Saints. He's owned on just 24% of leagues on our site. So he's been out much of the year, but he's been playing the last couple of weeks and played pretty well. And he could be the starter the rest of the season for the Saints with Alvin Kamara suffering that groin injury. And I think that gives him good value as the lead back in this run-heavy offense going forward with all sorts of issues at the quarterback position. Spencer Rattler is probably going to start after playing better last week than Jake Haener, but either way, it's kind of a mess at quarterback, so I think they're going to be run-heavy. I think Miller could get a lot of work. You can't expect him to produce like Alvin Kamara going forward, but he's certainly going to have fantasy value getting a lot of touches in this offense. My next pickup's another running back. It's Tyjae Spears, who was actually drafted in nearly every league out there, but he was dropped in a lot of leagues because he's been ineffective. He's been hurt, hasn't played a lot, but he's starting to play more now. He actually has played his most snaps of the season last week, 56% of the snaps to 44% for Tony Pollard. He had his best game of the season last week. He had 6 receptions for 87 yards and a touchdown, also ran 4 times for 5 yards and a touchdown, giving him 2 scores on the day. So he could end up getting some more work down the stretch here, especially with Tony Pollard banged up. I think it could be more of a split in this backfield going forward. So he's another good replacement for Kamara, in my opinion, out there in about half the leagues on our site at this point as well. So you're looking for running back help, need maybe a flex play for this week. I'd consider Spears going forward. All right, my next pickup is a tight end, and it's Jacksonville Jaguars tight end Brenton Strange, owned on just 4.2% of leagues on our site. He's starting now with Evan Ingram hurt. He's done for the season, so Strange is going to get a lot of work, and he had a huge game last week in his start, caught 11 passes for 73 yards on 12 targets. With Ingram out, I think Strange has legit value for fantasy teams, especially if Mac Jones continues to start for them. He likes to look at that tight end, and Strange could really rack up the looks in this offense. My next pickup's Jalen McMillan of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The rookie receiver is owned on 22.4% of leagues on our site. He scored a touchdown the previous week. We thought maybe that might be a fluke, but guess what? He found the end zone again last week, giving him scores 2 straight games. He had 5 receptions for 75 yards and a touchdown last week. McMillan has 9 receptions his last 2 games, getting a lot of work lately in a pass-heavy Bucs offense, and I think he could have some value going forward. Could be maybe a sneaky number 3 receiver play in leagues going forward, especially if you're in a deeper league. I think McMillan definitely has some value. My last pickup is a streaming quarterback play. So if you're looking for a QB this week for whatever reason, maybe your starter has been ineffective lately or has a bad matchup, I'd consider Cooper Rush of the Dallas Cowboys. He's owned on just 23.8% of leagues on our site. He's looked more and more comfortable every week in a starting role. He had his first 3 touchdown games of the season last week. He has multiple scores, 3 or 4 games. Cowboys can't run the ball at all. That running game's a disaster. And I think Rush is going to continue to get a lot of chances to throw the ball, especially this week. And I think he could have a big game for the Cowboys. So I think he's a good spot play and could have some big games the rest of the way. All right, those are five of my favorite waiver wire pickups for Week 16 of the fantasy football season. Good luck navigating those waiver wires, and I hope you have a lot of success this week. This has been Jeff Paur for RealTime Fantasy Sports.